As someone who was raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, before being saved by grace through faith in Jesus Christ in 1994, I can tell you that a little leaven is all that it takes for doctrinal error to develop and multiply. Throughout my entire early childhood, I believed that I was a true Christian. I believed that Jehovah God was the one true God and that Jesus was God's Son. Period. This false cult blinded me to Jesus' true claims of divinity. The Watchtower organization, which is the only true apostolic voice in the earth according to Jehovah's Witnesses, claimed to offer the only true path to salvation. I sincerely believed them until the day my eyes were opened to the truth of biblical Christianity by the grace of God. My background helps me understand the power of false religion. False teachings infiltrate our nation, and indeed the world. False teachers and their teachings are like a sticky spider web. Once you become entangled within them, breaking free is nearly impossible. One of the false religions that I want to focus on over the next series of these teachings is the Church of Latter-day Saints. In recent years, I have looked on in shock while the Mormon Church has made several successful attempts at disarming and neutralizing discernment among evangelicals. Despite the fact that 3 out of 4 American Christian pastors believe Mormonism to be a cult, and that the majority of American Christians consider Mormonism to be, quote, very different, unquote, from true biblical Christianity, it still hasn't stopped many evangelicals from embracing the message of one of America's most popular Mormon communicators, Glenn Beck. Many evangelicals consider Beck's Mormon worldview to be completely harmless to their own faith. But should they? While it may be difficult for non-believers to understand why evangelicals so easily embrace a Mormon's viewpoint on weighty matters such as spirituality and history, perhaps they can find solace in the fact that such behavior is perhaps less bizarre than evangelicals who openly support torture and America's perpetual warfare state. Indeed, to outsiders, it may be difficult to understand how disposable Jesus' words are to some American Christians. It may also be hard for some to understand why American Christians oppose the average Mormon on the street while lauding those Mormons who come in the name of politics. Think Glenn Beck or Mitt Romney. If you're confused, join the club. So are millions of other Christians. After all, why would American Christians support those who believe and even promote anti-Christ principles? I believe that there are at least 2 reasons why American evangelicals have warmed to Mormonism in recent years. Number 1, the American church is so scattered, so disjointed and disarticulated, that some within the flock will often cleave to any form of spiritual leadership if it is deemed safe by their respective tribes. In the GOP, for example, both Mr. Beck and Mr. Romney have enjoyed immense support from American evangelicals during their careers. The cozy but slimy relationship that exists between the Republican Party and evangelicals has allowed politics to trump legitimate theological concerns. The second reason is perhaps less instinctive and more sinister, namely the fact that evangelicals are willing to side with practically anyone who will take them and their agendas seriously. Most GOP presidential candidates, for example, have been very careful to learn the special buzzwords that will excite evangelicals. Over the years, their lip service has included vague promises to outlaw abortions, outlaw homosexuality, or to put God or prayer back in school. Once elected, however, these newly minted politicians find that it is often easier to raise the required money necessary to win their next election by making new promises than actually trying to achieve their previous promises. It's an endless cycle that the wise King Solomon would declare as mere vanity. In Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 14, the wise king writes, "I have seen everything that is done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and striving after wind." Over the course of the next 6 sessions, I want to discuss 6 different strange beliefs held by Glenn Beck, Mitt Romney, and every other good and faithful Mormon that may surprise you.